Yeah, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar with Jill Lublin, How to Stay Visible in Troubled Times. So again, my name is Aisha, and I'm Jill's assistant. I'm here to support Jill and all of you today. So just a little info about Jill. Jill Lublin is an international speaker on the topics of the radical influence, publicity, networking, kindness, and referrals. She is the author of four best-selling books, including Get Noticed, Get Referrals, and co-author of Guerrilla Publicity and Networking Magic. Her latest book, Profit of Kindness, went number one in four categories. Jill is a master strategist on how to position your business for more profitability and more visibility in the marketplace. She is the CEO of a strategic consulting firm and has over 25 years experience working with over 100,000 people plus national and international media. Jill teaches a virtual publicity crash course and consults and speaks all over the world. She also helps authors to create book deals with major publishers and agents, as well as obtain foreign right deals. So, without further ado, let's all welcome Jill Lublin.
Thank you so much, Aisha. And let's go on to the first slide about my friend P.T. Barnum, because he would be my friend if he were alive today. And I'll give her a moment to find it. And you can put yourself on mute, probably is good. Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for putting yourselves on mute. I so appreciate that. Super cool. So P.T. Barnum said it best, and that is, a terrible thing happens without publicity. Nothing, right? And that's really my point, that if you don't do anything, nothing's going to happen with publicity. Go ahead to the next slide, Aisha. Because here's what publicity does. It brings you, go ahead, hi. Go ahead to the next slide, hon. Sorry, this is her first time on this piece, so bear with us a little bit. So what publicity does is it brings you increased prospects, it brings you more sales, it brings you more trust and more credibility in the marketplace. It gives you more visibility in the marketplace, of course, more clients, that's important. Definitely makes you more money and gives you more exposure in the marketplace. Well, and I only mean the good kind. That's all we want, right? Because go ahead, yeah, thank you. It's all about your message. And what's really important is that your message is important. So interestingly enough, look at that word message. The first two letters are me. In the word message, the last four letters are sage. In the word message is me, sage. Personally, I love that. I just think that's super cool. And interestingly enough, in the word message is mess. So here's what I want. I want you to have a good way to get your message out there. And I want to give you a super simple formula right now for how to do that. And this is it. You're going to go with the problem today is, and that's going to be your script. You're going to start with the problem today is, and you're going to just speak that, right? So, it depends what you're promoting. And what I don't want you to do is say, hire me, hire us, etc., or here's the program I've got. I want you to identify what the problem is in the marketplace. So here's good news for all of you. Listen, with today and what's going on, I can share with you that I've been on 10 radio stations in the past 12 days. Talking about Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben's and changing their branding. Dixie Chicks dropping Dixie, toppling, statues. I'm talking about branding though. Now, here's what I want you to hear. I'm a publicity expert. Why is Jill, the publicity expert, talking about branding? I'll tell you why. Because it works to get me in the media. Because the power of your message is what's key to getting you in the marketplace so that your message gets heard, gets seen, gets known. That's what I want for all of you, to be heard, known, and seen. And so with that, you got to be solving problems in the marketplace as experts. And then I want you to give solutions. I'd like you to give 3 solutions particularly because that makes your message much better. So for instance, I would say something like, this is my message, okay? So write this down because I'm about to give you really good publicity tips thousands of dollars worth of publicity tips that are actually easy, simple, and quick to replicate. So here's what I would say. The problem today is 4 out of 5 businesses will go out of business because you have no clue how to create publicity without spending a fortune. I want to give you 3 guerrilla publicity tips to get your business in the marketplace. The first way to get noticed is to create your ooh, ah factor. And the second way is to create the I've heard of you somewhere syndrome. The third way is focus on networking magic and show up in your communities at least twice a month for name and face recognition. And my friends, that's my main message. That's it. I keep it really simple. You notice that? And so with that, I just want you to hear that the message is key for creating we'll call it a solution to a problem, making it really simple and getting your name out there in quick, easy ways. And this is the shortcut formula. I just dropped it in your lap, but I also, if you noticed in my formula, gave you real publicity tips. So here's a key that's really important, is you always must be giving value and benefit, right? And that's a real key for all of you. Now, I want to talk to you about, and I should go to the ooh, ah factor, because I specifically want to talk to you about the ooh, ah factor. And what I mean by that is, what is it about you that makes other people go ooh and ah, right? Ooh and ah. So what do I mean by that? What about you is the powerful, what would I call it? The thing that most people are connected to. What is it about you that they're connected to? And that's what I want you to look at. How can you create that ooh ah factor so that other people are paying attention to you? So for instance, just real straight, my Black clients right now, I'm like, whatever we talked about before, whatever I had you promoting before, forget about it. We're doing Black Lives Matter issues. Like I've got a woman talking right now about about being a Black woman in America and having her voice heard. I've got people who've trained in corporate for years who talk about, and in fact, I actually saw in the news recently how all these people who work in corporate for years are now opening up to what it's been like to be Black in corporate America. And that's what they're talking about. So those people who are my clients who've had that kind of experience, that's what we're talking about. See, because the media will tell you what's the most important thing to talk about. So pay attention. That's why I've been in Louisville and Cincinnati and Columbus, Houston, on major 50,000 watt radio stations. You know why? Talking about publicity with regard to branding, with regard to Uncle Ben's and Aunt Jemima. And why are they changing the brands? You know, I could have gotten on all this week for the Redskins changing their name of their team. So keep listening for, I want your PR antennas up. These are my PR antennas, aren't they cute? I want your PR antennas up for the opportunity to get your name out there so that your name continues to be present. And I think that's really important. Okay, now with that, I want you to use everything you've got. Use everything you've got. So what do I mean by that? I want you, when I'm talking about using everything you've got, I want you to talk about the different parts of who you are. So for instance, and Mary Beth, we're on the Ryan Yee piece. I had a client, Ryan, and he, well, you know, he came running up to me. He's like, Jill, I really want to work with you. And I'm like, great, Ryan, what do you do? He told me he's an instructional designer. And to be honest, I'm like, well, that's not that interesting. What does that mean, right? And so what that meant is that when Ryan told me his story, it meant that he'd been downsized from a corporate job. His wife had a pregnant wife with their 3rd child on the way, and he had just bought a big house in Northern California. I'm like, no offense, Ryan, but that's not really, that's the story, not not the instructional design, but the story about the pregnant wife and the big mortgage and being laid off. That's what's interesting. So I created Ryan into what I call a virtual office warrior. And Ryan took a vow, virtual office warrior, never to work in an office again. Now look at that screen, San Francisco Business Times front page. Look at the headline, when fired, you too can vow not to work in an office again. They actually used the headline. Look at all the other great press we got, Entrepreneur Magazine and Mac Home Journal and Home Office Computing, because, well, he worked out of his home office. Imagine what it would do for you to be in these kinds of magazines. And these are all big national magazines, because Ryan's PR results, he was in major national magazines. His business revenues increased over 40% using publicity marketing strategies. And one placement in the Chinese Times resulted in over $7,000 in consulting business. That's the power of publicity, my friends. And Ryan used it for his business to go from laid off to thriving, literally all in consulting. So I want to show you how I use this with my own book, The Profit of Kindness. And when The Profit of Kindness came out, as much as I'd like to say, you know, woohoo, Jill got a lot of press because the new book's out, that's not the truth. What happened was I do the things I would do with anyone in my publicity courses, and that's what's the story? What's the message? And the message was the divided states of America, which we're still going through. And that got me 7 major market TV interviews, including Fox News, CBS News morning shows in Virginia, and literally 75 radio and podcasts and counting. I just had another one today. I've been in Inc. magazine and Forbes twice now. And go look at profitofkindness.com. So that's really super. And you can see kind of how to structure and how I structured a book site. That might be helpful for some of you if you're thinking about doing books. And by the way, I've helped people get real book deals without a word written. I just have to celebrate one thing before I tell you the rest on Profit of Kindness. This is a woman, Susie Carter. She's amazing. She used to work with Lisa Nichols as her COO, Director of Operations. And Susie has this beautiful book coming out called Power Your Profits, which I got her this book deal without a word written. 6-figure book deal, Simon & Schuster, coming out in September. We're so excited. And so here's what I want to tell you about that. Simon & Schuster said yes to her because she had influence. Let's go back to the other slide. They said yes to her because she had influence, and because she had influence, she got publicity. Can you get that? That's what I want to tell you, is influence equals publicity equals revenue, whether it's revenue from your clients or, you know, some maybe a book deal's right. But the point is that the influence leads to more of everything, more of anything you want. And that could be familiarity and trust in the marketplace and people trusting you. That's really key. And it could be actual revenues from prospects and profits and actually clients in the pipeline. That's revenue, right? So with Profit of Kindness, you see on the actual slide that it was wonderful. Yes, we got a bunch of press, and that's been a blessing. And actually something was brewing in my heart, and that's to put kindness circles together. So I have launched a new program. They're called Kindness Circles. And if you'd also put in the chat the link to that, that would be super. The next one is Friday, July 31st. They're completely free. Please come join me. We actually practice kindness together, and we help each other create kindness. And she'll put it in the chat. How you register is you go to jilllublin.com/kindness circles. Okay, so that's really a key. So what we're going to do, and with the media, here's the deal. You just got to say yes. No matter what they ask you, you've got to say yes. And what do I mean by that? So, you know, this branding piece I told you about that I've been talking about to these 50,000 watt radio stations. Well, let me just tell you, I got a text on a Sunday. Okay, now I'm off on Sundays. That's my special day. And on Sunday, I got a text at, I don't know, maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it said, would you come on our show tomorrow morning at 5:45 a.m.? Well, 8:45 their time, because it was in a East Coast city. And what's my answer? Yes. I always want you saying yes to the media. No matter what they ask you, I want you to speak and learn to say yes. That it may seem off. It may, like, at first I thought, well, how am I going to talk about branding and Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben? And then I realized, hey, guess what? It's all publicity, my friends. That's what I want for all of you, is the power of your yes to get you more influence, to create more business, to get you the power of publicity so that the media keeps saying yes to you. And then that familiarity factor will multiply, as will your revenues, as will your familiarity factor, and your trust factor goes way up. The power of publicity is so profound, and it's both tangible and intangible, right? Because see, the thing is, people keep seeing you, and I call it the I've heard of you somewhere syndrome. They'll keep seeing you, and that's what we want for you. Okay, now I'm going to come back to some of you, but before I do, so start thinking of the questions and what I can do to help you. I'd like to tell you how you can continue to work with me. I know, Shelley, you're in the course, and Lisa, you've actually taken this course before, and you are welcome back as my alumni gift to you. And what it is a virtual publicity crash course. So go ahead to the next slide, because we are going to do a virtual course where you have personalized attention. And during that course, what's super cool about this, and Aisha, if you can go to the next slide, that's great. We're going to craft your message so that basically, you'll get this embraced. Know that it's a small class. It's live and interactive with me. Like, it's me the whole day, right? And we're going to actually have you do 3 documents in the course so that you are creating the documents that the media needs to say yes to you. And you're going to learn everything from follow-up to strategies to plan your publicity campaign so that your campaign goes quickly and easily. So Aisha, there are a few more points I want them to see. Yeah, there you go. That's it. So here's the deal. The course, and go ahead to the next slide. The course has been over $1,000, $1,297 to be exact. And what I've done in the course of COVID is I have priced my course so that it's highly affordable for everybody. And so it's only $197 now. And by the way, just so you know, that was my bring a friend price. So I priced it so it's affordable for you, so that it's easy and simple. And you get me all day long, live, interactive. It's a great course to really go the next step for your publicity. You can pick any date that works for you. We have several coming up. Go ahead, Aisha, show them the dates. And also, so actually the 28th, August 19th, and there's a date in September also. And the way to register, and Aisha, please put this in the chat, is publicitycrashcourse.com. Go ahead to the slide previous, please. The way to register is to go to publicitycrashcourse.com, put in the code Stay Visible. It's all lowercase and all one word. So publicitycrashcourse.com, put in the code Stay Visible, all lowercase, and that'll make it $197. Be a great way to serve you, great way to get your publicity done. And I'm so excited to see all of you so that your publicity gets done in the right way, in a way that gets you the results that you desire. And I look forward to helping you with it. Now, what I'm going to do is come back, and let's go to gallery view, Aisha, would be wonderful. And I want to hear from some of you how I can help you and what questions you might have. So Aisha, let's go back to gallery view so I can see everybody, and welcome back. And let me hear your questions. And what you can do is I see, great, Lynn has her hand up, and you can also, put your hand up too. All right, go ahead, Lynn. And you need to probably unmute yourself.
Good idea. Okay. All right, thank you. Sorry to be a few minutes late. And I caught I caught you at JVX. Was it JVX that you were?
Probably, yes.
Yeah, yeah, and you were just incredible. Your energy and your dynamism is amazing.
Oh,
And I'm
thank
a passionate
you.
color expert, and I'm wondering who is. Do you have a stylist?
Yeah, actually, I do. Funny enough, I do. And I actually, and then you know what else? Just a little secret. I actually have taken a How to Look Great on Zoom. It was so funny. I was doing something earlier today, and this woman privately chatted me. She goes, "You look so great on Zoom," and I laughed because I actually I took a course called How to Look Great on Zoom. Just
All
FYI.
right. No, you do. You do.
And you
Yes.
know what? Well, one of the things she said was back up, because here's a little tip. I'll just share it with you. You have to be able to see your armpits, because that way people can see just a little bit of your body, so they can see your
Mhm.
body language, and right? It's good. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So tell me, how can I help you? What's your question?
Well, I'm interested in. Funnily enough, I did do PR and fashion in London for many years ago, and then in Vancouver I've been doing color and interior design. And I'm just sort of newly launching into the passionate color. And I've been to JVX and I just did the recent collaboration with them, and met lots and lots of really wonderful potential, joint venture people who want to collaborate. And so just putting that old hat back on, I'd be interested in TV and podcast, and I'm collaborating actually with another interior designer who also specializes color in LA. So what would obviously it's sounding like, having just come in, the first step would be to buy into your course and sort of and get going that way. Would that be the
Honestly, and I'll tell you, and I would tell you if I thought something else, but start there, because it's going to give you a very important foundation, and it's very practical. We actually are getting it done. We're in process. It's no kidding. So I would really start there. I'm very methodical with what to do first, what's next, and then how to do it, and where to send it, and all the practical, tactical things you need. I think that'd be a great place for you to start, and especially it's a very reasonable investment right now.
yes?
So great time to take advantage of that offer.
And I
And
will
that
thank
is
you.
oh, you're welcome. That is a limited offer, just FYI. This is COVID pricing. And
Okay.
I think anyone can tell you, including Lisa or people who've been through it before, that it's never been at this price before. So
No,
that's why I'm
that's
going to
wonderful. I
recommend it.
appreciate that. And is there
You're
anything
welcome.
I should be doing in the meantime? Is there anything in
So
specific?
depending on how quick you can come in, because we have them coming right up. I know July 28th. Mary Beth or Aisha, would you post the dates again in the chat, just so they're there so people
I
can
wrote
see
them
it?
down: the 16th, 28th of
Beautiful.
July, and the 19th of August. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Beautiful, beautiful. Because what I want to recommend is, in the meanwhile, start getting clear about your message. This is for all of you,
yeah,
about your
yeah.
message. Like,
Mm-hmm.
start zooming into what is the problem out there, and be creative.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that you've listened carefully, as I've said. Listen, my Hispanic clients go to Hispanic media. My Black clients are going into Black Lives Matter topics right now. I'm going into branding topics around Black Lives Matter issues. Do whatever's appropriate for how to fit yourself into the media right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, looking
Gotta be
great on
top of
Zoom
it.
is
Yeah,
important for a
yeah,
stylist. Yes.
yeah.
Steal that idea,
That's just one
you know.
aspect of what I'm doing. But just when I was looking at you, I mean, you look really pulled together, and but we can always do with a bit more color. I'm, as you know, as I just said, passionate about color, so we can all just, because all the Zoom events I've been to, I look around, and it does make a difference. It's an immediate, very positive contact when somebody's looking bright and cheerful, and it makes that person more seductive, more approachable, more, and the same with your background in Zoom, not so much because you don't want it to distract. It's like that fine balance between not distracting, but also telling the people who are watching you about what you do. So yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Notice the books behind me, of
Yes.
course,
And they're all,
purposeful.
yes.
Yes, and you can read them, right? And
Yes.
again, these are things for all of you. If you're a speaker, Curtis, I love your virtual background, showing you speaking, to showing you doing a presentation. I think that's important.
Mhm.
So Lisa's got a nice picture up as she puts her camera off. So make sure, listen, PR happens right now on Zoom, right now on Zoom. So yeah, you better be looking good. And I know Lisa was telling me she just worked out. God bless you, Lisa. I haven't quite gotten to that today, but yeah, the point is, you gotta present and look good and do your best, right? So I bet, Lynn, that you have some tips for that. So I'd probably have you start writing an article, how to look great on Zoom, secret tips
Great.
and tricks for drawing people to you, like
Yes.
that, right?
Well, thank
Like
you so
that.
much.
You're
That's
welcome.
brilliant.
My pleasure.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah,
My pleasure. Look,
no, I was just going to let everybody. It's been a while since I did your publicity course, but just to tell everybody, the content is so rich and so deep and so expansive that at that price, that's incredible. That's an incredible gift. And to be with Jill for that amount of time, she's an absolute expert. So I just, I'm looking at what date I can come back. I'm like, oh yeah, what date can I come back?
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And I'm thrilled you're going to be back. Thank you. Thank you. It'd be wonderful to have you back. Yeah, we are very, we've really put a lot of effort. This is part of my pivot, right? Because what's so super cool for me is I get to serve people from all around the world now at a very affordable investment, frankly. And I made the class, really an easy access, easy yes. And honestly, it's never been at this price. So, and we keep them limited so they do sell out, meaning the seats. So I can be live with people, so I can see people on the screen, so we can interact. We do breakout rooms. It's a lot of fun. And I had a certain, like everything, you have to decide what works and what makes sense for your business and what's appropriate and how you can serve people. But here's what I'm seeing about what I like to now call the Corona bonus is that you get to be with people in a whole new way now, right? You get to Zoom with anybody from anywhere around the world. I was doing this course virtually before. That's the good news, but I had a whole nother format. Now it's just really been a blessing in many ways. And now I'm part of networking groups that honestly, I never had time to go to before. How about you guys? Anyone else?
Oh
Right?
yeah,
Put in the chat. Yeah, isn't that
yeah,
great? You
yeah.
get to go to all kinds of things. Here's a great example. Just even locally, I have this wonderful, it's just a sweet networking group I like of wonderful people called Connections. Well, it was on a Friday at 8 in the morning. Now, I don't know about you guys, but 8 in the morning is not always like up, Adam, full makeup, drive an hour to get there. I just didn't make it, either that or I traveled half the month on a plane, going to speak somewhere and present somewhere around the world. And guess what? I frankly didn't have time. Now I can actually go because all I have to do is tune on and Zoom. I actually joke with them. My big joke is, who's wearing shoes? Okay, I'm going to take a poll right now. Who's wearing shoes? Raise your hand. By the way, I'm going to put my hand down because I took my thongs off. I just took my thongs off. Okay, who's wearing shoes? 1 out of 6. Thank you. Thank you for your honesty. 2 out of 6. Okay, good. 2 out of 8, actually. That's what I'm talking about. So anyway. But here's what else. So, first of all, who has another question? How can I help you? Take maybe a few more questions. How may I help you? And while you're thinking of that, let me just say publicity is like a gardening process. So I want you to be planting seeds now for your great future. And the way to do that is do it before you need it, my friends. I love these people go, oh, I'm not ready for publicity. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Whatever you're doing, you're ready for it. You're ready for the process where you are right now. So here's the deal. Publicity is an evolutionary process, right? It just is. And you plant seeds. So Lisa, yeah, you came, when you came with the project where you were right then. But there are going to be things you're going to hear. You're going to go, what? I didn't hear that. Yes, you did. Maybe I said it differently. But I think that we hear things in different times differently. And I like to say they go kerplunk in different ways. This is why for me, because I believe a lot in coaching and I have I actually have 3 coaches because I keep myself boxed in. And I find that's a great way to do that. But, I attend everything they do because even though they may say some of the things again and again and again, guess what? I'll hear it one day like kerplunk, right? And then we'll do something different. And I love that. And I think that's how we have to be in life.
Yeah. Jill, I have a question. So
Sure.
for years and years, I still do trainings. In fact, we've turned them into virtual, which was crazy, wild that I could do that, that we could do that. But, you know, I'm a mindset coach, breakthrough your paradigm. But the other thing I've developed is basically a money, wealth, and miracles course, which is about people's relationship with money. So it seems easier for me to go to the problem today is with the money course because it's so specific. It's so hot for people right now because the work, I mean, it's still mindset work, but it's their mindset work about money. But it seems so much easier than the whole shifter paradigm, which is so general and people don't, it's all conceptual. And I've had the hardest time with the message of what I do that way. So I'm just thinking it seems easier to kind of focus on that as the message right now, especially getting on, you know, maybe radio or podcast or stuff like that.
I love the thing about money because, you know, who doesn't need more of that, right?
Right.
And especially with COVID and financial issues and pressures, I think people really need to keep their mindset really good and clean and clear and clean it up, even when, you know, there's the fear there or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can present ways to do that. I think is super cool. But I do think anything around mindset is also important. I mean, let's face it, you know, we are bombarded with bad news right now. Like constantly.
Yeah, no.
And, you know, so keeping oneself in a good space, regardless of the news that's coming, you know, so here's my good news for all of you. You can use the media right now with all the news there is to shift it to the news that you want for you, putting yourself up there. But, you know, do it so that it fits into what's going on. So Lisa, in your case, how to have a great mindset all day long, right? Or what to do when you feel anxiety. I mean, who hasn't felt anxiety? I'm raising my hand, right? I think we all have. That's very normal in today's moment. It's the yes and, right? What do we do with that? Or, you know, again, how can your message fit into what's going on right now? So keep thinking about that. Keep listening for that. Keep your PR antennas up so that that is a consistent, constant place you look from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. And before I forget, and Mary Beth's also joined me, who's my assistant. Wonderful. Welcome. Mary Beth, put for the alumni, which is Lisa right now, how she registers for the class.
She did it already.
Oh, you're so awesome. Thank God. That's why I have her. Thank you, Mary Beth. I appreciate it. Yes, Mary Beth says she's my, what do you say? You're my left hand and my right hand too. You know?
I'm your right hand and sometimes the left hand too.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. And all the spokes on the wheel. Right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. Anyone else? I'll take maybe one more question. Anyone? Okay, beautiful. Well, I'm going to look so forward to seeing you in the publicity course. Again, the way you register is publicitycrashcourse.com and then put in the code Stay Visible, all lowercase, case sensitive. Come to the kindness circles. Both are in the chat. Please take a peek. And I know I'm going to see many of you in the next upcoming publicity courses. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And very much looking forward to helping you take your message consistently forward, because here's what I want to leave you with. You ready for my final message, so to speak? Just for this moment. My message to you is that your message matters. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. It's a pleasure to serve you. And I look forward to seeing you in the course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ciao for now.
Thanks, Jill. Bye-bye.
You're welcome.
Bye,
My
everybody.
pleasure.
Bye.
Thank you.
That was
Bye-bye.
wonderful. Wonderful
Thank
presentation.
you.
I think I'll join the
thank
20,
you.
the 19th of August. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
thank
Thank
you
you
so
so much.